Hey, it's another week, another recipe, and today we are practicing using leftovers 1940s style with a terribly termed dish called shipwreck. Come join me. Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Courtney Morris and I cook history's forgotten recipes out of random cookbooks I find and sometimes websites. Thank you so much for joining me if you're new. Thank you. I hope you enjoy this and I hope you join our community. And if you're coming back for more, I hope you enjoy this one too. Alright, let's go. Okay, first things first. I have 3 kids and a husband who, despite my best efforts, don't put things away in my fridge how they should be. So it got so bad it prompted me to clean out the fridge again and found leftovers from the other night of ground hamburger and rice. I was thinking, okay, I could just make tacos out of this, easy peasy, but because I am me, I decided to go scour the internet and find a vintage recipe that I could try out for you guys and experiment on. And I found one, except it's called Shipwreck. And with a name like Shipwreck, I mean, normally shipwrecks aren't a great thing, which tells me this could be a disaster and a waste of leftovers, but it could also be something pretty darn good. Now, I found this on $5dinners.com. The lady who runs it had found an old recipe book from her grandmother's church, and in it was this, and she made the recipe and then tweaked it a bit to her liking and gave measurements, whereas the original one doesn't give any measurements at all. And she said it turned out fantastic. I'm going to stick to the photo that she had posted in the recipe book of just what was in the recipe book to see what we're working with here. All right, so as much as I would like to use up all of this, I'm not going to make a lot just in case it's not great. If it turns out good, then I'll just make another pan of it, but I'm going to put it in just an 8x8 pan, and it doesn't give measurements. I mean, literally, it is just some of this, some of that, some of this, some of that, some of this, with tomato sauce in between her soup. It called for celery too, and I had celery about 5 minutes ago, and when I went and got it out, it had died. So it says to slice onions in bottom of a buttered dish. So I'm gonna butter my dish. So because it doesn't say any quantity, I'm just gonna put stuff in. Now, it says to season each layer with tomato soup. So I'm not sure if I should have put tomato soup in between the onions and potatoes. Also, it's condensed soup, so I wonder if I need to actually make the soup like soup. So there'd be enough, which actually that might be, because otherwise it'd be just too thick. I don't think there'd be enough, quite honestly. So, okay. I got way too many potatoes. Apparently one little one is plenty, and I didn't bother peeling them. I don't mind the skin. You know, maybe that's soupy enough. But I don't want to make it watery, but yeah, see, that just doesn't seem like it's gonna cover well. Okay, maybe I'll just make the soup, or at least the consistency it's supposed to be. But then do I use milk or water? Honestly, I'm not a big fan of tomato soup with water in the first place, just general eating wise. But that's all right. I think that makes more sense. It makes more sense to me anyways. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, I don't know. Then a layer of browned hamburger. And this hamburger is just lightly seasoned. Salt, pepper, garlic, onion. I mean, nothing amazing. It's not a Mexican flavor. Okay, I'm assuming that's a layer. I feel like this is like a shipwreck lasagna. Okay, now rice, and yeah, I'm using my hands. I'm sorry. I've done enough dishes today. I don't really want to put out a spoon, but I feel like when you're dealing with this kind of stuff and you have to layer things, I think it's just easier to just be able to crumble it with my hands. And it looks like if this does not turn out, I'll have enough meat and rice to just make a burrito. More soup. And then a can of kidney beans. Okay, well, you never know what leftovers are gonna do for you here. I feel like there needs to be cheese somewhere. But in the spirit of this channel of trying verbatim recipes and not screwing with the original too much, I feel like that should just be mixed around. Like, I feel like this should just be all mixed and there should just be a layer of cheese so you can't see the inside of it. Okay, that's the last of the soup. I'm not sure what I just made. Okay, well, that was easy. It was easy. Good way to use up leftovers. I should say a way to use up leftovers. I don't know if it's good yet. It doesn't smell bad. It's It really doesn't. Although I'm a little worried this is going to be more hamburger helper-ish. It can't be worse than some of those Jell-O dinner things that they've made. I'm not brave enough. I'm supposed to cover this and bake it until the potatoes are tender. So I just stuck my oven on 350 and I'll just time it in 20-minute increments, I guess. So I will see you when it's done and maybe I'll have dinner made. Okay, so this is out of the oven. It actually smells pretty good. I did put celery seed on top just a little bit just to give it that celery flavor since I didn't have any. It smells good. It looks horrendous, but I mean, with a name like Shipwreck, how could you go wrong? I do think that I may have put a little too much liquid in my soup. It's a little watery yet, but it's still hot yet, so it might thicken up as it cools. It smells hearty. It smells like a stew almost, like a kind of like a chili, because I mean chili has a tomato base, so it's giving me those kind of vibes. It's also giving me very like winter food, kind of like come home and warm up with this. So hopefully it's good. You know, for someone who's not a fan of casseroles, this isn't bad. I think its only downfall, and I think it was my fault, is I think it's a little too watery for me. That could be remedied by just sticking this in the oven and cooking it more and evaporating out that liquid a little bit more. Or in the beginning, just not adding so much milk. I think that was just kind of I can see why the lady from $5 Dinners messed with it. And she does give measurements as to what she used. They loved it, and this has really good potential. And even how it is, you know, it's not bad. It really is, and it's more like a goulash, really. It tastes hearty, and after a long day outside, in the cold, in the snow, I'd be more than happy to come home to this. Now, how my family's gonna feel about this, we're all not casserole people, so I might be alone in this decision. It's definitely a great way to use leftovers. That is for certain. Would I have preferred burritos? Yeah. I don't think this would be a go-to for me, but it's not a bad recipe. If you made it this far, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if you know what this is, or if you have a variation of it, or if this is something that was just like one family's recipe they submitted to a church publication. I don't know. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Join our little community. It is growing and it is exciting. I'm loving talking to everybody who leaves me messages in the comments. It's so much fun to speak with you and to learn your stories. Also, please drop me a recipe if you want me to try something out that you're curious about. I'd love to try it out for you. Also, hit the little bell notification. It'll remind you every time I upload, which is every Monday, with a new historical experiment. And sometimes they are fantastic, and sometimes they're mediocre, and sometimes they're absolutely awful, but that's the fun in experimenting. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm see my videos and show them to more people so we can grow the community. And it also tells me that I'm making content that you're enjoying, so that also helps me. All right, I will see you next week with a new video. In the meantime, go ahead and click on this one right here. This was a fantastic use of tomato soup. All right, I'll see you Monday. Bye.